Inner exception, with traceback in Python? My background is in C# and I've just recently started programming in Python. When an exception is thrown, I typically want to wrap it in another exception that adds more information, while still showing the full stack trace. It's quite easy in C#, but how do I do it in Python? E.g. in C#, I would do something like this. In Python I can do something similar. But this loses the traceback of the inner exception. Edit: I'd like to see both exception messages and both stack traces and correlate the two. That is, I want to see in the output that exception X occurred here and then exception Y there, same as I would in C#. Is this possible in Python 2.6? Looks like the best I can do so far, based on Glenn Maynard's answer, is this includes both the messages and both the tracebacks, but it doesn't show which exception occurred where in the traceback.
Python 2, Vue. It's simple, pass the traceback as the third argument to raise. Always do this when catching one exception and re-raising another.
Python 3. In Python 3 you can do the following. This will produce something like this.
Python 3 has the raise, from clause to chain exceptions. Glenn's answer is great for Python 2.7, but it only uses the original exceptions traceback and throws away the error message and other details. Here are some examples in Python 2.7 that add context information from the current scope into the original exceptions error message, but keep other details intact. Known exception type. That flavor of raise statement takes the exception type as the first expression, the exception class constructor arguments in a tuple as the second expression, and the traceback as the third expression. If you're running earlier than Python 2.2, see the warnings on sys.exc_info. Any exception type. Here's another example that's more general purpose if you don't know what kind of exceptions your code might have to catch. The downside is that it loses the exception type and just raises a runtime error. You have to import the traceback module. Modify the message. Here's another option if the exception type will let you add context to it. You can modify the exceptions message and then re-raise it. That generates the following stack trace. You can see that it shows the line where check_output was called, but the exception message now includes the command line.
In Python 3.x. Or simply, which will propagate my exception but print both exceptions if it will not be handled. In Python 2.x, you can prevent printing both exceptions by killing the _context_ attribute. Here I write a context manager using that to catch and change your exception on the fly. See this URL for explanation of how they work.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.